Lonnie West for the Aging Engineer, and today I thought I would walk you through my OBS filter settings for my microphone that I'm using when I record YouTube videos. The microphone is a PreSonus PD70. It's going into a Motu M4 interface. The PD70 is a dynamic microphone, so it doesn't have a lot of volume coming out of it like most of them. The Motu interface, the gain is cranked all the way up, which gives me a decent amount of gain, but not quite enough. So the first block we'll see in our audio filters is a gain boost. It's very aggressive. It's a 21 dB boost, which is a lot. The purpose for this, it gets the volume up into a range where the other tools can work on it. If it comes in too low, your things like your expander, compressors, and those sort of things don't really have enough signal to trigger and be effective. So this gets it up into a good working range. The next item I have is a limiter capped out at -3 dB. This just stops when I tend to get too aggressive, or I cough, or I make other on-mic noises that would otherwise peak and cause a really nasty clipping sound. This stops that from happening and being passed on down to the other tools. The next item is an expander. I played around a lot with this because I don't have a perfect room here. Right now it's raining outside. I have a computer under my desk that has a fan noise going. I have a ceiling fan up there. And when I'm not speaking, you would hear some background noise. And here's what it is just with silence right now. Not perfectly silent, but very good. So what the expander does, it's less abrasive than using a noise gate. A noise gate will just shut off at a certain point, and it sounds very unnatural. Where a expander, when I go below 30 dB, it starts rolling off at a 2-to-1 ratio. So it kind of takes away that background noise. It also reduces a little bit of the mouth noise that I tend to have as well. Next item in here, this is not a built-in tool. This is a paid tool. This is Izotope. It's the RX8 audio processing tools. This has a suite of a lot of different things in there, but for me, the price of admission to purchase RX8 was the mouth declick tool. This is something I struggle with a lot. Most people do. We all have a certain amount of clicky, smacking noises that our mouths make that are particularly noticeable when you have a microphone close up to your mouth like we do here. This plugin does an excellent job of removing those and eliminates hours of going through and manually editing these things. So again, fairly low cost for an excellent tool, so it's one that I'm quite happy to pay for. And the last thing I have is Ozone 9 Equalizer. And again, I pay for the Izotope Ozone suite. I use it for a lot of my production work. The equalizer is outstanding. Really any good parametric equalizer will do here, and I'm sure you can find other ones that are free. This is the one that I use because it's very visual in nature, as you see down here. I have a few things going on. So band 1 is listed as the one down here in the low mid-range because this is the one that I worked on first, because the raw audio coming out of this microphone, just my voice and the microphone and my room setup, kind of had this congested mid-rangey tone in there. You know, kind of what I would call the cardboard tube sound. It wasn't, like I say, it wasn't terrible, but it did need some work. So I started with this first. And the best way to find this is record a bunch of audio files, bring your cue down to a small amount so this bell curve is very narrow, and then you just sweep it along the range while you're talking. You do both a cut, and then you do that with a boost, and you'll find there will be a certain range of audio that when you hear it, you'll go, ugh, that's the place you're going to work on. So for me, it was around 390 hertz. And so what I'm doing is I'm dropping that about 3 dB here to kind of get rid of that nasally cardboard tube sound. So from there, the next thing I wanted to do is bring up some bass and also get rid of the thumping noises, like when I put my elbows on my desk or I'm typing on the keyboard. I really don't need that low rumble that comes through my desk because I have a desk-mounted microphone here. So I did two things. So first, I put a low boost up here, and this is just for my low end of my voice. just to bring that back up a little bit since I had a fairly aggressive low-mid cut here. And for me, this is a little over 100 hertz, 2.5 dB boost. Then at the very bottom end at 40 hertz, I roll this off at 24 dB an octave. And this is a very aggressive cut, but I really don't want any of those low rumbling noises in here. And the very last thing I did is I put on a high boost, a little over 7K for me. And again, this is one that I ended up sweeping around to find out what the good place is for my voice and what I wanted to hear. And a little over 7 kilohertz was perfect, and just a slight boost at 1 dB. So this gets me close to a broadcast-ish kind of sound without sounding like one of those 1970s DJs that are up on the microphone and talking about the morning news. But it gave me a decent kind of sound that I wanted here. You'll notice I'm not doing any compression or anything like that here. What I want to do is really capture just a good quality, uncompressed audio. The reason for this is I used to use compression on here a lot, and I found that in the end, I'm fighting this all the time because I'm picking up all kinds of low room noises because of the compression that I'm now trying to edit out. So I prefer to capture this audio without compression. I can always put that in post-processing when I'm editing the video. So that's what my workflow is now. So I hope that helps those of you who are trying to get your setup. This is different for everyone. We all have a different voice, a different equipment, different rooms we're working in. There's no one-size-fits-all solution, but this is the one that I'm using now and seems to work pretty well for me. It minimizes my workflow, so now all I have to do is when I'm editing the video is put a little bit of light compression on there to just even out the voice throughout the whole thing, and then I am done. So I hope that helps you. You have a great morning.